Guys, and welcome back to Ados the Great YouTube channel. So guys, we have done fullbacks, halfbacks. We've now got the 5'8 ranking. Sorry, my apologies. We've done fullbacks, halfbacks, and 5'8s. We've now got the dummy half ranking video. So I know a lot of you guys were a bit concerned about some of my rankings in the last few videos, and you're all well to have your opinions. Now, I will say that these are based on players' current form, so going into the 2023 season. So, you guys might disagree with some of it, but it's not based on full career. It's just basically a power ranking of how players ended last season, how I think, they're going. So that's what I'm sort of basing this ranking off. So obviously there might be a few guys there that don't normally play dummy half or filling in a role, I guess. So we'll go through the players that I've listed below and a few reasons why I've picked some of them. So starting off, Billy Walters. Personally, I think Blakey Moser will get the hooking role eventually for the Broncos, but for round one, Billy Walters is going to get it, so he is going to be in this ranking. We've then got Tommy Starling. Now, you could say Zach Wolford deserves to be on here. I just don't know the direction the Raiders are going to go. I'm going to assume they're going to use both Wolford and Starling. I do think Starling will get more of the minutes. They've also got Danny Levi there. So very, very confusing as to what Canberra are going to do. But for this, I'm going to use Tommy Starling. You got Reed Marnie for the Bulldogs. For the Sharks, you've got Blake Brayley. Sam Verrills for the Titans. Kieran Foran. I'm thinking the Titans, and then we go over to Manly. That was my thought process. Lockie Croker for Manly. My apologies. Harry Grant. You've got Jaden Brayley. You've got Reece Robson. Josh Hodgson for the Eels. Sonny Luke for the Panthers. Cookie for the Bunnies, Jacob Little for the Dragons, Cheese for the Roosters, Appy for the Tigers. You've got Wade Egan for the Warriors and Jeremy Marshall-King for the Dolphins. All right, so 17th. The player that I think is going to be or should be going into this season as, I don't want to say the worst dummy half in the game, but I think I've got to. I think Billy Walters, and I just don't think he's a dummy half. I think he's playing out of position there. I think the Broncos would be stupid to play him there. You've got, I'm so high on Blakey Moser that I think it's silly playing Billy Walters there. I think Billy's a talented footballer, but I just don't think he's a dummy half. All right, 16th. I'm going Jacob Little. He can be a serviceable dummy half, but I think the Dragons should have signed somebody a little bit better. Fainu, I believe. I might be butchering that. There's a young fella at the Dragons. I can't remember his name right now. I think I did write it down somewhere. Finau, is that it? I can't remember, guys. I'm sorry, but I think he should be getting the gig there. But they've gone with Jacob Little, so that's fine. All right, next up, number 15. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tough because there's a few little fringe players that probably should be in the mix there. But I'm going to go Sonny Luke, and this is no disrespect to Sonny because I think he is going to be an absolute weapon of a player, and I think he's going to overtake Mitch Kenny at some point. But at this point of time, we haven't seen enough of him to rank him higher, so he is 15th, unfortunately, for me. I think come the end of this season, he could definitely make his way up to sort of a top 10 dummy half in the NRL. All right, next up, I've got Tommy Starling. I think Tom, he does the job. Does what you need him to do, but that's about it. He's not that flashy. He's not playing full 80 minutes at the moment. Him and Wolford are getting, splitting the minutes. So I think this is a fair ranking, to be honest. I still think he's a decent dummy half. But yeah, definitely not higher than 14 for me. All right, next up, this one I might cop a bit for, but I'm going Lockie Croker. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say, mate, that is such a, he's such an underrated player. He deserves to be ranked higher. I think it's a bit like Billy Walters. I don't know if dummy half is Lockie's preferred position. I think he does a job there. He does what Manly need from him, but at the same time, I don't think he is the best option for them at dummy half. He seems to be the only option they've got at the moment. But look, I love Lockie. I think Lockie can be a very good player. I just feel like he's playing out of position, and I can't rank him any higher than 13th. Look, he's still a very good player, and he can score a try out of nowhere. But I think all these dummy halves that I'm yet to rank are above him, in my personal opinion. So next up, another one that I might cop a bit of flack from, that is going to be Josh Hodgson. Look, I think he's still up there as one of the best dummy halves in the game. He's very smart. At the time when him and Cameron Smith were together in the league, he was very close to the level that Cameron Smith was at. So, it's a massive credit to him. And obviously he was out for, I think, 99% of the 2022 season. So to base it off, how that season finished for him, he probably should be lower, but I feel like that'd be disrespectful. Going into this season as a power ranking, I would say 12th is pretty good for Josh. All right, next up, we've got number 11. Number 11 for me is a bit difficult. Now, all these players, they're all brilliant players, and I think they all deserve to be in the top 10. But unfortunately, we can't do that. So my number 11 is actually going to be Wade Egan. Now, Wade is a very good player. He's done the Warriors a world of good going over there. He's a very good dummy half. Injuries have plagued his career a little bit, but no, I think he's definitely a very good player, very versatile. I've seen him and Jazz Tavanga sort of swap between the 9 and the 13, and I think they both do it very well. So I think number 11 is a good spot there for Wade. Number 10, the first player in the top 10, I've got Jeremy Marshall-King. I thought on the Bulldogs last year he had an outstanding season, and I think he's going to do very well for the NRL Dolphins. But I can't rank him any higher than 10th. I think I'll answer that a bit later. I think he is going to be an absolute gun of a player for the Dolphins, but until we see that, I sort of can't rank him any higher. All right, next up, who have we got? All right, this is now we get into the sticky part. I think I'm going number 9. I'm going Jaden Brayley. Very good dummy half, makes 50 plus tackles a game. He goes crazy, but I don't think he offers too much more than what most of these players offer. I personally think his brother has just overtaken him, and I think 9th is a pretty good spot there for Jaden. All right, next up, number 8, I've got Blake Brayley. He helped Cronulla get to the finals. He's a very good player, similar to his brother. He's a tackling machine, but he's got a little bit of attacking spark where I don't think his brother has as much. They're both very sort of similar players, but different at the same time. I think 8th spot for Blake is a decent placing for him. All right, at number 7. Number 7 for me is Sam Verrills, the new Titans recruit. Very good player. Absolutely killed it for the Roosters. I think, if they needed him to, he could move to lock quite easily. I think he's a very versatile player. And yeah, I think the Titans have done well in signing him. I definitely think top 7 is a good spot for him. I know you guys might disagree and say that some of these guys might be higher than him, and he's. I'd be completely fine with you guys making the argument that he's done a lot of good in his career because of the team around him. So I guess, I'm only basing this of what I see. I think he's a very good dummy half, and I think going to the Titans that he will help them out a lot. All right, so we've got number 6. I'm going Reece Robson. I think he's a very underrated player. He is definitely somebody that he was on the New South Wales Blues extended lineup. So he's definitely got potential, and he is an absolute gun of a player. I think top 6 is definitely suited to him, and I don't think any of you can change my mind on that one. All right, next up, I'm going Brandon Smith, number 5. Bulldog Brandon Smith, absolute gun of a player. He was great for Melbourne, and I think he's going to be outstanding for the Roosters. Can play in that hooking role, that he can play at lock. He can also fill in the front row as well. Definitely could be a good middle forward, if necessary, if they needed him to step up and do that. I think the Roosters have found a very good pickup there in Brandon Smith. And I think definitely the first player in the top 5. I think that's absolutely fair. Ranking him 5th, I'm very happy with that. Let me know in the comments, guys. Do you agree with that take? Should he be higher? Should he be lower? Love to hear from you. All right, next up, I'm going Reed Marnie for the first player in the top 4. Bulldogs have signed an absolute stud. I think he's going to be outstanding for the Doggies in 2023. Very good player. He makes 50-odd tackles a game as well, but he's a smart dummy half. He can find a try out of absolutely nowhere. He can set up tries. He's got a decent kicking game as well. I think eventually he's going to make his way onto the Queensland bench spot as well. Fill in, maybe even push into the middle occasionally as well for a few little runs and tricks. So I think he's definitely deserved of a top 4 spot. All right, 3rd, I'm going Cookie. Now, again, you guys might disagree with this one. You guys might say I'm a bit biased, but I definitely think Damien Cook is still a top 3 dummy half in the NRL. I think he is absolutely deserved of that spot. And look, he's still an amazing player. What he offers on attack and defense, both are insanely good. He's a quick player. He can make a line break out of nothing. He can also make 50 to 60 tackles and not be gassed. He just keeps going. I think Damien Cook is an absolute weapon of a player and deserves to be in the top 3. All right, next up, we've got Api Coruscant. Another player I think absolutely deserves to be in the top 3. I think arguably the second best dummy half in the NRL. I think the gap between him and Damien Cook is getting even further apart. I just think he's an outstanding player and definitely deserves to be number 2. Number 1 speaks for itself. The Melbourne Storm dummy half, in my opinion, the best dummy half we've had in the NRL since Cameron Smith. He is outstanding. Harry Grant is just, what he does, not only for club level, but state and international level as well. He's just in a league of his own at the moment. I think the gap between these two is enormous. These two is enormous, and these two is enormous. I think, I think these 3 are definitely leagues above the rest, but I honestly think Harry Grant is even further above Api Coruscant and Damien Cook. I don't think we're going to see. I think Harry Grant could be potentially up on Cameron Smith's level when his career comes to an end. All right, guys, so let's go over this one more time. Number 1, Harry Grant. Number 2, Api Coruscant. Number 3, Damien Cook. 4, Reed Marnie. 5, Brandon Smith. 6 is Reece Robson. 7 is Sam Verrills. 8 is Blake Brayley. 9 is Jaden Brayley. 10 is Jeremy Marshall-King. 11 is Wade Egan. 12 is Josh Hodgson. 13, Lockie Croker. 14 is Tommy Starling, 15 Sonny Luke, 16 is Jacob Little, and 17th and last is Billy Walters. Let me know in the comments, guys. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to hear from you. But that is going to wrap it up from me, guys. This video drops on Friday, so get excited because Sunday I will be dropping my 5th episode of the podcast. Make sure you are subscribed on YouTube to get that notification. Also, go over to Spotify. You know, you might be driving to work on a Monday morning. You want to chuck that on. It's a good listen, in my opinion. And this will be the first week I'm not using a script. So I've thrown the script out. We're going off the dome for this one. So, yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you do subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.